on, Scorpio? This is your girl Cosmo here with your next cosmic quest. I hope y'all are ready to go on this amazing journey with me. Alright, y'all. This is your love reading for the month of September. I do apologize for these videos being late. I just had a lot going on. I had revealed some plans that I'm thinking about opening up in maybe October, November time. Just need some time to really comb over the details. But otherwise, I do appreciate you guys, hanging with me, checking out the daily messages that I post out, even though they haven't necessarily been as consistent as I'd like them to be just due to my busyness lately. So, yeah, guys. Let's see what the hell is going on in your love life, family. Alright. Alright, let's get into it, family. Scorpios. Good. Ooh. Are we seeing a Taurus? Or are we making our house into a home? Okay. Are we settling down? Are we applying patience with the situation? Okay. Okay. Very interesting, Scorpio. So, already, Scorpio, I'm looking at your reading and thinking, whoa, we know what we want. We're ready to go for it. We're inspired. And not just like, oh, this is great. This is fun. No, this is like you have found someone that's meant a lot to you. But there is either a bit of hesitation with it, or there is some things that you may need more attention to detail with. And that may have to do with the other person. Just by the fact that the Lovers and the Two of Cups are coming up into this definitely has to do with somebody in your life. I don't really know if there's a desire to necessarily settle down like the Empress can sometimes suggest, or this is creating an atmosphere of receptivity. Okay, because these two ladies here, they're awesome at receiving. They're awesome manifestors. The Empress especially. The High Priestess, she's great at seeing things, or she's great at receiving energetic messages, signs. She picks up symbols and things like that, right? She's intuitive. She's an empath, right? She'll feel things and get her messages through that way. The messages will always come to her, and I feel like this is putting yourself in a position of receptivity. Right now, it's all about what you receive rather than what you give, okay? And I kind of feel like that's what the kind of situation is coming to right now. Like, this is what's being, this is the biggest thing that we're looking at right now, is how much have you been receiving love, Scorpio? How much of that love have you used in constructive means? Okay. So the underlying energy is the Knight of Swords. So we got somebody coming in really quick if this isn't you or your situation, right? So fast-moving energy, this can sometimes indicate that this is a Gemini around you. But this can also indicate that someone is willing to fight for what they believe in, fight for their truth, fight for their perspective. Underneath that is the Two of Wands. So I feel like somebody made a decision. They made a decision and went with their heart, and they're going for it. They're fighting for it like it's law. Okay, but it also progressed some sort of progress, right? It progressed something to move a lot quickly. With the Empress being in the heart of your reading, which I'm going to honestly clarify, because that's an interesting placement. Taurus energy is the heart of your reading. Now that just tells me right there, okay, are you seeing a Taurus, or are you guys feeling very Taurian in your relationships? Are you relating to people as though they are someone, some sort of extension of you, right? That you have them, that they belong to you. What are you marking down as yours? Now, Empress is not solely Taurus energy, as this is Venusian. So this is about pleasure. This is about utopias. This is about manifestation. This is about nurturing and patience, right? Understanding that the seasons come for a reason, and this is the season of great harvest, right? This is autumn that we're going into. So I kind of get this feeling that for a lot of you guys, you are ready to harvest. You're ready to manifest. You're ready to put the roots into the ground and start creating what you want, because the Empress is also creative energy. So I kind of feel like you guys are trying to create a relationship that you want, right? That you truly want. Nothing less, nothing more, right? Nothing more, nothing less. So let's see. What is the Empress? What is Scorpio trying to create with the Empress energy? The Three of Swords. Okay, so you want to heal. Like, you want to create a space or create a situation or create the act of healing, of receiving heart, not receiving heartache, but receiving clarity, receiving love. And I know the Three of Swords is not a card that really talks about love, but the Three of Swords, it is forgiveness. It is looking at the situation for what it truly is and preparing to heal properly. So I feel like right now, either you guys are looking to create someone with an ex, to create some sort of peace with something that you've had bugging you for a long time, because usually the Three of Swords can talk about past situations, but you're creating something from a situation in your past that wasn't exactly, all that fun to go through. And look at the Three of Wands. I feel like you guys have been manifesting something, even though you experienced some sort of heartache or heartbreak, or maybe even something that happened in your life that caused some trauma. I feel like you guys are looking to overcome that. There's something that you're willing to receive from that experience. So in the past, you have the Page of Wands. I see this as inspiration, but the fact that you have two consecutive pages to me tells me that there's a lot to gain from this, a lot to gain from such little small acts. And this one being the Page of Wands, right? Taking action, feeling more inspired to do something, to communicate perhaps, or to, have more fun. Usually the Page of Wands talks about seeing things from a very adventurous and enthralled sort of perspective, right? Everything's fascinating, everything's new, everything has the potential to really kick off. And I feel like with the Page of Wands, you had something that reignited some sort of passion, some sort of energy that has influenced a lot of this fast moving movement, a lot of these talks or communications that you have with people, because the Page of Swords is what's happening in the present. I think some of you guys honestly are already tuned into what you want. It's all about right now if you're open and willing to see what you need to see to have what you want. Because I feel like right now we have to kind of practice implanting our filtration system. What does that mean? Well, I feel like with the Empress, you want to create whatever you want to create, but you've had some things happen with the Three of Swords, painful things, and of course you want to manifest those. But I feel like this is right now the trial period in which, not necessarily trial period, but you're introducing a new system into your life where you do want to manifest happiness, you do want to manifest great things, but you also want to look out for the red flags that the Three of Swords can usually indicate. Sometimes the Three of Swords doesn't necessarily say, hey, watch out, you're going to get your heart broken. It's more of like, hey, you have had situations happen in this circumstance before. You know what to look for this time. But you have to be aware of what hurt you. You have to be aware of what triggers you in order for that situation to no longer happen. So if you're getting repeats and things like that, it may have to do with the fact that there's something that's coming up to see or to help navigate you towards what you want. But there's certain skills that require you to that you're required to obtain before getting what you need, before getting what you want, rather. And you're like, why? If I want what I want, why do I have to go through the hoops? Well, it's simple, right? The certain mindset and certain way you're feeling is what they're trying to achieve, and the way that we are trying to achieve that. I shouldn't say they so much because it's just all of us that's doing all this work. I mean, I say the universe and God, but I truly believe that we're the ones that's creating all these chain events. So, like I said, if you want the happiness, there's a certain version of ourselves that we imagine with what we want. And I feel like this is kind of trying to convert who we are from the experiences that we have gone through to have, to desire, or to manifest what we do want. And that does include us changing with it in order to have that. So this to me is an automatic red flag. Who are you getting more information about? Not red flag in the sense of, what are you doing? More of like, this is telling me that this is really combing and making through this person is right for you, right? Of course, with the Three of Swords, we may have had some hits with our trust, with opening up, with being, well, obviously we've had had a situation where we didn't feel very good. Something from the past that hurt us, it still lingers around, and we carry that around as a not a chip on our shoulder, but as a wound, right? As a scar. And I feel like the only way for us to really heal from this scar is to use what the lesson showed us when we got the scar in the first place. So that means maybe looking at the situation a lot more closely, doing your research, getting more factual information about somebody. Because I feel like maybe there's some news that somebody came back into town and now you're watching. You're not taking action necessarily, but you're watching. Or you've maybe invited this person out for drinks, something light and something easy, and you are observing them because this is actually a lot bigger than what one had proposed it to be. Because the situation doesn't go from lighthearted and cool to being kind of a little bit on the serious side. Because I feel like there's intent with here. There's an intent here. And I don't think it's like a bad intent. I don't think somebody's trying to like steal your money or do anything contrived. But I do feel like there is some sort of like, hey, let me see you first. Let me see where you're coming from first. And it's totally understandable if this Three of Swords comes up here. And then with the Two of Cups, you're trying to see how much this person is like you. What things that you guys have gone through. How can you guys work together? Is this a perfect union? And usually perfect unions don't have to be romantic. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But I see this in a romantic view. Just in case. It doesn't have to be. So your future shows the Lovers. And I actually want to pull for that. Why did we have the Lovers coming up? And I don't mind the Lovers at all. The Lovers is such a beautiful card. But we have to also remember that the Lovers isn't just necessarily about two people. This is about the decision to accept what we want. Accept that our heart is yearning for something. Or is telling us, hey, this is it. And I feel like our mind is what's keeping us safe. Right? Because we never go out of our way to hurt ourselves. We're just trying to be careful. So I feel like with the Lovers coming up here, this is about allowing yourself the vulnerability and the space to accept what you and who you love. Right? The Two of Wands, making the decision based off of a certain path, or like making a certain decision towards a certain direction in which you're trying to go. So I like this here. The Lovers and the Two of Wands. It's all about figuring out what you want to do, Scorpio. Focusing on who you want, if this person is really your person. And then I feel like you guys are doing the work here, definitely making sure of it, because you've gone through enough pain to know that's the last time I'm feeling that. It's like, yeah, you're not dealing with that anymore. You're only focusing on what you want to do, how it's going to make you happy. And interestingly enough, right, seeing the situation from a very positive point of view, from a very no, I'm not going to come from a low place, I'm going to come from a high place, is so huge, because it's so easy for you guys to go in a direction where it's dark. Let's just be honest. And it's not because, you're just a dark person and yada, yada, yada. No, you've gone through some really dark stuff. People have done some dark stuff to you. So, of course, naturally, you're going to go to the worst case scenario with a lot of situations when it comes to romance and love. And it's not because you are a dark person. It's because you have had situations either happen to you or you've done some things. Something has happened in your life that's kind of made you view something a little, like something unnaturally. Okay? And when I say unnaturally, I'm not trying to say this is like bad or anything, or it's unwell. I mean, it's like there's some things that have made you see the world as such a way that you don't even like it, right? That you don't even want anything to do with it. So I feel like you're coming from a place of want, desire, and creating that, and you know you can create it because you're smart enough to know this. You're smart enough, you know that you got the ability to make it so. So now it's not even about, okay, can I have it? It's about, okay, well, we're going to play my game. We're going to make sure that this situation, or this person fits my criteria, fits fits these brackets. I got to make sure that this person actually wants to do things because he wants to, or be with me because he or she wants to be. Like, there's something that you're looking for to make sure you're avoiding the Three of Swords, but not necessarily in the event of, oh, I don't want to deal with that, but more of like, I've learned my lesson with this. I know what I've gotten from that lesson. Now it's time for me to filter, because I don't need that anymore. You're just combing through what you don't and don't need. And that's why the High Priestess comes up with the Page of Swords like this. There's not much you need to do other than to observe, watch, keep your eyes open, family. All right? Because the Two of Cups, man, there's somebody around you and you're very drawn to them and you don't really, either you know why or you're trying to figure that out. Now, it's not just necessarily like you're trying to make sure this person's right for you, but you're also trying to make sure that, you're trying to understand what you're feeling with this person, especially if they have either brought pain to you before or they remind you of someone that has brought you pain, okay? Or remind you of a painful situation. They may not have even brought pain to you. Like, I don't think anybody ever brings pain to us. We find the pain in a situation because that is our salvation for it. There's a deeper meaning for the pain. There's never ever a blanket or surface reason. There's never that simple. It's never that black and white. So, of course, Scorpio, you understand that better than anybody. So, I don't, so totally please understand that I'm not trying to lecture y'all. This is legitimately what you guys are going through at this moment from what I'm seeing from how the cards is being displayed. You're trying to make sure that this person is not only the perfect partner, you're trying to make sure that they are the perfect partner, but you're also trying to make sure, is this somebody that I can move forward with? Is this someone that I can connect with? Is this someone I like? Do they have qualities that I can admire? So, with your hopes and fears, the Seven of Cups comes up. I don't think it's ever going to stop being confusing, but the thing is that I do feel like the situation or questions that you may have will clear up. With you paying more attention, with you, putting in, that time to really get to know the person, all this, this confusing stuff, all these options will start to dwindle down into a couple because you'll know exactly what you want with the Lovers and the Two of Wands, right? You'll know exactly where to go. It looks confusing now. It looks too good to be true now. And I think the thing is like you're drawn to this person, so that's why you're hyper. Either you've pulled back a little bit, you're wanting to pull back for a little bit to kind of just make sure that you're not either jumping the gun or this person isn't really that into it. Whatever it is, like the situation is showing that it's so beautiful that it's questioning whether or not this is real or this is not real. Because this is Virgo season and because you're hyper aware anyway, go ahead and just watch. Not necessarily just say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to do any communication. I'm not going to manipulate the situation to get them to talk to me. No, it's more of just getting to know the person a lot better for your sake and not necessarily play any sort of dating games like, okay, well, I didn't talk to him today, or is he going to talk to me? She didn't text me today, am I going to talk to me? You want to avoid games like that right now because that is not a real thing to do. It's not how this is to determine whether or not someone likes you more or not. You have to be coming from an authentic place. And I feel like, like I said, this will clear up a lot more when you're focusing on what you're looking for and what you want and what qualities you can admire from the person. The second we start playing small games, the more it's going to get confusing and the harder it is going to be to trust. And then it's going to be like a really weird mess. So with the outcome being the Six of Wands, right? I feel like you're going to feel very happy with not only the person that you've met, but the relationship that you guys have fostered. How much you've known about this person. You're going to feel proud of the connection because you know who you're working with and you begin to feel a lot more of a deeper connection with this. Okay? I really feel like this is a relationship that you can be proud of and that I feel like you will be proud of. But it's just like allowing that space and time to prove to you that that this relationship can be something more than it has been. Interesting, Scorpio. Interesting. All right, and you guys have Seek the Truth. See? And that's all about looking closely at your situation. Like, the reason why I love owls so much is because they have really big eyes. So it's really hard for them to miss things. But they also, they can turn around. They can turn their head almost completely all the way around. I think it's about like 320. They can turn their head all around. Now the whole 360. I'm not quite sure. I could be wrong. But they have open eyes and ears. That was a bit of a confusing shuffle. I'm going to do that again. But yeah, seek the truth. Right now, the only thing that is important is what information you gather from this significant person in your life, the Two of Cups, this perfect partnership that's arrived in your life. Like, it's just nothing wrong with asking questions. Nothing wrong with being really very methodical about what you want to do with this relationship. About you know seeking more information. Doing some work behind the scenes, right? By watching and understanding and learning. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I do feel like the situation that the situation has the potential to blossom. It's just right now the only thing that needs to be done is just keeping an open mind, keeping your eyes open. So you guys have surrender unhealthy relationships and surrender non-action. Surrender to non-action, by the way. This is literally asking you to no longer do stuff. The High Priestess is literally the same card for your advice. So let me show you the two cards that you have here. All right, so it says, let go of relationships that don't serve you, including unavailable or toxic people. You deserve to be treasured by others and to be surrounded by positive people. And then you have surrender to non-action. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. So again, be careful that you're coming from a place of authenticity, right? Come from a place that you truly don't feel like necessarily talking to the person. You're not reaching out to necessarily see if they'll reach out. You're truly just being an observer. That's the only thing you have to worry about right now, Scorpio. Okay? Only thing. I really wish this thing would just kind of focus back, but sorry, guys. But anyway, yeah. So this situation is, yes, and surrendering to unhealthy relationships. I surrender unhealthy relationships. I don't know if you currently have a situation within your relationship that's toxic. I'm not saying this is not a card that says go ahead and break up with the person. You're not going to fix it. That's not what this card is saying. It's saying to recognize what the toxicity is, and if you're willing to work on it, work on those. Work on strengthening those boundaries, which is already what I see you're doing, and really start building a relationship that does treat you with the respect that you deserve. And I think that's why Page of Swords, High Priestess, and Surrender to Non-Action, and Seek the Truth are all coming up. It's because right now, you're creating the boundary system. You're understanding what filtration system you're looking for. You're seeing what the toxic people look like. You're seeing what the unhealthy relationships look like. And I'm not saying you need to predict the future with this. This is not a predictive thing, right? You're not trying, nobody can predict it, not even me. But the thing is that you're not necessarily looking for the future. You're looking at what makes you feel good in the moment. All about what feels good. Empress is all about what feels good. So as long as you're able to feel good, I know. It's weird. But hopefully this snaps back. It doesn't. Wow. But as long as you're able to feel good, guys, that's it. That's the biggest thing. Feeling good where you are. Six of Wands doesn't come up in your outcome on accident. It's about what feels good, what feels right. That righteous feeling. And you can have that in your relationship. It's just all about a matter of keeping going in the direction that you're already going in. Continue to be watchful and mindful. And this thing will speed up faster than the speed of light. Watch bi-weeklies, and then maybe again throwing in some extra fun readings, just to kind of get the juices running for me. But I'm kind of looking to start this in October. Also, there's a streaming idea I want to do, maybe a segment every week where I do free readings, play video games, and even answer questions regarding love, relationships, and maybe even sex. We'll see about that. But I really want to start integrating a lot of things that I do, because I'm not a one-dimensional person. I don't just do tarot, but I do love it, and I want to incorporate that more in what I do instead of just kind of making that a separate thing. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. But otherwise, this is your reading, guys. Take care. I love you guys so deeply, and I will see y'all soon.